Assalamu alaikum. Are you ready? Let's get it. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Kayfa halik? Peace and blessings, and keep up the lessons. This is your brother Taalib from the Brother Taalib Show, your friendly neighborhood Muslim. Again, giving you news about finance in my finance section of finance sector of my show. Actually, I want to speak on which it's been going on for a while. It was a major launch of a Bitcoin adoption program that was country and nationally done in the likes of the country of El Salvador, which is a Central American country and has been known through several historical times of what we've known of El Salvador to have, tensions dealing with the politics, tensions dealing with the social order, like as far as especially being really very much attacked and overrun by crime and organized crime, gang violence and gang crime, you know. But the country has battled, and the different, people in charge that were in the position of leadership went through and affected the change, of course, through the battles. Some of them were also corrupt within the leadership or within the people who ran the country, and as well as the regular people or the regular, citizens of the country. But it was still clarity through life as time went on in their country to show that they were against these acts and these corruption, expansive amounts of corruption in their country. And why is this important? It's important, and why I'm bringing it up is because we see this in our country. We're Americans, African Americans, Black, and then you have Americans that are born, and they even come from countries like El Salvador, and even like my mother. My mother's from Honduras, and she was born there, but she became an American citizen eventually. So she was you can say, an American, Afro-American, Honduran American. You mix it up like that if you want. But the point I'm saying is that that which they went through, their struggles that led them to today's, which is the news that I'm bringing about, that has a lot of significance of what we're going through as a people. And when I say us as a people, because again, don't get me wrong, and those of you who may be white, maybe of the other nationalities other than African American, and especially brown people, as far as included with us, but mainly us as African Americans or African diasporans through the world. But here in America, I'm speaking on more in terms of America, and that we struggle more than any other nationality in this. Excuse me, I'm sorry about this. Let me just turn that off. And than any other nationality in this country. There's plenty of consensus of reports that the numbers are there, and you can look it up. You can Google it. I don't want to be one of those types of people, and I'm not an analyst or social analyst or whatever, dealing with the way things are going and adding up and making charts about how much is the numbers, a percentage of this is going on, and that's happening with these people, and that's happening with those people. No, I'm not one of those people. So, and I do take little bits and pieces and give to my audience, give to the people who are looking and watching and viewing, so that you can know a little bit and get a taste of it. So you can, once you get a taste, just like a person gets a taste of food, they like it, then you go ahead and you continue on enjoying it and or learning more. That's the point I'm saying. So you have to do your own research and your own learning as well. I give whatever I can give and whatever I know. But basically, back to the point, the standard or the amounts and the levels and of how many people are struggling in this country as far as compared to other, and they did comparisons of other nationalities. African Americans are known to be at the bottom of the totem pole, and this is not including the billionaires or millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, and sports athletes, and they all are celebrities to me. But basically, those people know that's a minimum. That's like 1% of the majority of African Americans in their position of financial standing in this country. You understand? And as it is, poor and the rich gap is tremendous, more than it's ever been. So that's not even including all the other nationalities. But we're at the bottom of the totem pole, like I've said in plenty of my videos. But it doesn't make, I don't say this to make it like, oh, that's something to hold us back. No, that's something for us to be more adamant and more determined to gain ground and to get out of that hole, to get out of that rut. I'm not going to stay in that rut, and you shouldn't be wanting to stay in the rut. But it is a rut. It's a reality. And it's due to us as well, not the people and say, oh, the white man did it and this man did it and that man. No, it's us too. It's because we don't try to change our condition. As we know, in Islam, Allah mentions that Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change that's within themselves. So you got to start with your heart. You got to start with your mind. You got to start with your body and that functions and every maneuvers that you do. Everything that Allah blessed us with, we can use and better ourselves. Michael Jordan bettered himself on the court. All these different other athletes bettered themselves in the areas that they bettered themselves and went to higher extents of what a human being can do. Sometimes people felt they defied human nature and stuff like this, and then give them godly positions. That's shirk. We don't deal with that. We don't enjoy no partners with Allah. There's only one deity worthy of worship. But as far as the point I'm saying is that we have to get up out of this rut. We have the abilities to do it. Allah blessed us with it. So when I say this, don't get me wrong and get me twisted that I'm saying we're at the bottom of the totem pole, like that's where we have to remain. I'm just stating a reality of what has been known and what has been studied and analyzed and put out there. Okay. So basically, we have to struggle harder. So we're going through like some of those people there. We are attacked and daily victimized by crime in our communities. This, our people, it's within us. It's in the chest of those dudes in the streets. It's in their mind and it's in their chest. This is their perpetuation of their life and how they live, and they make themselves to be victimizers because they want to gain what is they feel is the only way for them to have happiness in this life, and that is money. That's mainly based on what it is based on. Most of the people, when I came from the streets and when I was out there, they was basing that lifestyle on getting that money, get that guap, as they say now today, get the cheddar back then, or actually we was just saying get that money, the ching ching or whatever. All these different terms and words, ebonics, if you want to say. But basically, that's how it was, and this is what it was. So those gang banging over there ain't no different from the gang banging over here with us in all the hoods of the African American communities and Hispanic and Latino communities, because they are Latino. They're brown people. El Salvador is a brown people country, even though they have lighter, creamier color. El Salvadorians, as well as other Central American, like my mother's country. You have people like my color, like my mom, and you got people darker than me in Honduras, and you have the people who have green eyes and their face is more pale and they're more inclined. Their DNA, I guess, had more to do with the European slave that was there, that slave master that did what they did and raped the people and mixed. Besides some of later on, maybe eventually they did have free mixing on a basis of, I guess, relationships and marital. situation. But that was way after the slavery and the taking of the people's land and the colonization and all that, of course. But basically, the point is, El Salvador is going through what a lot of people in our country know what they're going through or have been going through. But the thing different from us to them, as I even learned with our Mexican brothers and sisters of the human race and the brown nationality of people, they work. They work hard. They work hard together than this way and that way. And I'm doing me. Yo, do you? I'm doing me. This yo. Or wanting to crab in a barrel type of situation. One of the people in that one of the crabs in that barrel starts to climb up. This is a analytical scenario, all right, or metaphorical, you want to say symbolic scenario, and that a lot of people know about. So if you don't know, just listen to the basic. The crabs, they stay together. They're in one area especially when they're eating and they're doing what they do, and they try to stay together. But at the same time, when you put them in a barrel and you grab them and you capture them, you put them all in one place, congested in one place in one hood, and then they're just trying to survive. So they crawling over each other. They don't care. They just doing whatever they can do. And some of them trying to get out. They're trying to get out of that hood. They're trying to get out of that. So then one trying to get out of that condition of living, low living. So they want to go be free and get to have more and go into the environment where it's expansive and better for them or whatever. And they have more opportunity to get more that which they maybe not be getting anything to eat there because they don't know they're going to be used for food. But the point I'm saying, the symbolism is that we're like the crabs in the barrel. And this has always been a thing within our community and our people that, if one starts getting it to stop, bang, what do? Crabs, they grab onto that one to get him so he can pull him up, or they get him down at the same time. They're not trying to push him up and then go up with him. They pull him down. And that's how it goes with us. We've been doing that for a long time, especially after the era where we were more our ancestors, we can call them, but our great grandparents and times when they were in the 40s and maybe even the 30s and so forth, where they were really trying to, even before that, when they were trying to, the early 1900s, they was trying to gain in this country after freedom, of course, gain some productivity for themselves in their life, some good, some advancement past of what they was suppressed with, which was slavery all the time that they spent and then after they got free to get jobs, but they couldn't barely. So some of them was able to learn to be entrepreneurial, and they educated themselves when the education became more available for them. Of course, even though it was segregation, they went forward. They went forward and fought against the powers that be, which was this systematic racist society built up by them. They were the burden, the beasts of burdens to help build up that society. You understand? So basically, that's our peoples in the past, but they were better than what we are now. They were better than we were all on this me tip. And if you get in my way, pow! If you get in my way, if you get in my way, and don't care. If you get in my way, tell on them and say no, and try to what you call make a dysfunction in their progress, and this is what we do. But we got to get out of that because we're going to keep oh man, we ain't getting nowhere. They always Black Lives Matter. If it matters, then make it matter. Make it matter for you. And if you have been known for us working hard, that's just what it is as long as you're going to be here. Or get out and leave and make hijrah. Stop complaining. Stop being complacent. But anyway, back to the point again with El Salvador. El Salvador is going through changes, and they're in a great change right now. Why? Because of innovation in their financial system. And a big move, very big move. Some of the people don't think, and some of the people, they have critics, they have a whole lot of people that are against them, and no, it's the powers that be. You better believe that. The big time imperialistic powers that be don't even have to get into the details. I spoke about certain things, put out a little bit. They want to shut your YouTube thing down, or shut you down, or come at your door with FBI, thinking and questioning you that you're a communist, and put that categorized thing around you, and try to demonize you in a sense where, because you speak against the system. Because pretty much it's not really even speaking against the system, it's speaking about what the system does, really, that the people are not transparent to, because they're not transparent about that, because they know what they're doing, and they can't be transparent because the people are going to say, well, heck no, I'm not doing, well, you can't do that to us, and it's going to be a whole lot of uh, um, pressure against them to keep on moving to what they're trying to move to. You understand? So basically, that's what it is. But I'm going to give you some understanding with the what's going on a little bit in relation to this move. And again, I'm bringing this because it helps you to understand where I come from. And where I'm coming from is trying to help people to build alternate way of financial wealth gain, or alternate direction, other than just working a regular job and even relying on one type of business. But you invest in something that can give you even a speedy, if not a speedy, but eventually a gain, so your wealth can go from one level to a much better level, that you would be able to be free from the bondage of financial restrictions. You won't worry too much as you've been worrying about this and that, and I can't make this payment, and they may shut this off, and all these different types of things that we go through. And you have to position yourself, though, and you have to be patient with that position. You have to keep being steadfast with that position too. And it's called investment. But what investing in what? And I mentioned it, you've seen plenty of my videos. Investing in digital currency is the highest level of investment right now, because of the gain, the amount of gain that you can make at a quicker pace than any other. And I'm not talking about trading digital currencies, or better to say cryptocurrency. As you know, me in my videos, that's what I speak about and I promote, and I am an influencer of cryptocurrency and now in this time. And one of them, of course, is Bitcoin, of course, which is the top. It's the top one. And this is what is in relation to the El Salvadoran government, as well as his people have adopted now in a big way. And I haven't mentioned it in my videos prior to this one, but it stayed on my mind, and I was like, man. And then I listened to a news organization called Al Jazeera, which is an Arab-based or Arab-created news organization that's been around for several years, and it's like the Arab CNN now. And they have a segment where this guy, he's a journalist, and he's questioning some of the people who are on the ground, are politically in place in El Salvador, and have knowledge of what's going on. But of course, they have differences of opinion and argumentation, in a sense, on it. So what I would like you to listen to the part. I've skipped through all the parts dealing with what has happened as far as before that, and the stuff they were discussing about the government going through its transition, and the president, and the strides that he's made, and the difference in the good and the bads that people speak, and they don't feel that he's really sincere, and all that stuff. Okay, that's a whole nother video if I was to get into that, but it's not for me to do so, because it is not part of American governmental situation and what we've been going through. So I don't get into too much depth of other global issues that deal with their financial situation, because many of you are my viewers. You view from American, I'm sure of that. And if you're not, then you can just take from what is going on and apply it to where you're living. And for as far as you being a Muslim first, and then even being African American, or being an African diasporan from another country, you're living in another country, but your ancestry is African, or a brown person being, as they say, from Latin countries and the likes of this, and you happen to have African even descendancy as well, besides your the native land that you was in. But basically, and many people like that, and then those of you who are from who are non-brown or black people, is for you too, because human race is basically is struggling. We all are struggling. It's not even just about just a particular race. And I'm definitely not a racist. Definitely don't. I'm not a pro-black person. I'm not even a Pan-Africanist in the sense of to that total ideology. No, but because I'm Muslim first, I'm African American next as far as what my nationality is, and that's how I live my life. I live my life according to my deen, and I know who I am as far as nationality and race. So that's it, basically. But to get to the point, I'm going to let you listen to what they're saying in relation to Bitcoin and the transition being very important in that aspect of Bitcoin coming into the scene and becoming part of the transition for the country to advance and to get better. And just listen up for a quick minute. Let me cue it up again real quick, because you know how phones do. They go when you don't have them on too long or you're using them, they just go right off. Okay, ready? Let's see.
Information has been accepting Bitcoin as the national currency there, or a national currency there. Here, I have a bit of video I want to share on that.
Okay, hold on. This is this segment in the Al Jazeera is called The Stream. I'll try to get this guy's name so then you can look at it on your own if you want to, if you're interested. But what I'll do is try to put it in the description if I can do that, and find his name, the one who is the actual commentator or whatever like this. All right, so listen up.
First time a non-fiat currency becomes legal tender in a nation state. Around 23% of El Salvador's economy is remittances alone. Those remittances come specifically from the United States, and the legacy financial system is not fair to them. Now you could stay in the comfort of your own home and you could immediately receive a remittance in seconds, and the fee is minimal.
The adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender by the government of El Salvador serves primarily as a valuable distraction from the increasingly authoritarian measures being taken by President Nayib Bukele to consolidate power. And of course, as a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin has a highly volatile value. International actors have also expressed worry about this move. The International Monetary Fund, which is currently in negotiations with the government of El Salvador.
Now you hear that? These are the different organizations as they're part of the powers that be. That when they mentioned the IMF, I didn't mention it, they did. So I'm just mentioning they are the people who having worry about the maneuvers that are being made or have been made with El Salvador to make Bitcoin legal tender in their country. And when these guys are talking about remittances, I'll try to hold on for a second. I'm going to get a better definition. Hold on and see what we can come up, get a little more information on it, because remittance are, from what I know, has to deal with the money that the people get when they are trying to make transactions, cross-border transactions. It may be money from here to go there, right? And the likes of this. And this is what I understand it as, but I'm going to read it to you from the definition in this dictionary. It says remittance is sum of money sent, especially by mail, in payment for goods or services or as a gift. Okay, so in an example, complete your booking form and send it together with your remittance. So this is, like I said, like when you do a money transfer, or when you do like MoneyGram and what's the other one? I can't remember the name. Wow, it's most Western Union, one of the most oldest and famous ones. It's the same thing. You're sending money, and especially by mail, and in a payment for goods, for services as a gift or a gift. And remittance, also you can deal with that and understand that with when you have companies like PayPal and the likes of these things, they do this. But you gotta realize that the problem with countries like that are medium or moderately, I don't know, I'll use the word like in in a developed way on a level that is lower than developed countries like America and Europe, certain, especially European and Western countries. And because I don't like that third world stuff and first world, I don't try to do that stuff anymore. I feel that's really like like downing the people, down pressing the people of these nations to make them seem and feel inferior to these nations that might have a little more development in their infrastructure or infrastructural system. So remittance, they help the people to be able to move money from it can be from abroad, from another country to their country. But it's harder for them because of their system, or because of that infrastructure that handles that process, their financial system. It doesn't allow these things to go and move quicker for them. So it takes them a while. So they can't move. If they can't move money, as we've learned in a capitalistic country such as ours, if you can't have money, period, and you can't move it and make maneuvers with it and transact with it, then it stunts your growth. It stunts your life. It stunts things that you try to do, because money pretty much has a lot to do with our life, our living. That's pretty much what it is. It's the same there in that country. Those people struggle, man, and they have a lot of issues of poverty and stuff like this. And plenty of them are unbanked, meaning they don't have bank accounts like we do. And that's another thing for us to look at and say, wow, we live here, and be appreciative and be thankful to Allah, alhamdulillah, because again, so many different ways around the world, the people struggle in this manner. So they're struggling like that, but look at what is being done. Bitcoin takes the role where it can help in that aspect and make remittance more quicker and efficiently moving and functioning to where the people can get a hold of the money. And they don't have to have a bank account. They don't have to have all this documentation. All they need is their ID from their country. Now they have a wallet, like we have with the cryptocurrency wallets that we have in the States as well as different countries, where a person can go, it's an app, and you go in and you can see your money that's there, and you can make transactions that you want to do. If you want to take the money and change it into another fiat, whether it's American dollar, which is with most, because the American dollar is the main a dollar is the reserve currency throughout the world, meaning that everybody uses it. That's decreasing, of course. In time, it's been happening. The dollar's being devalued around the world, but let alone here in America. And the big top of the line people, the powers that be, are worried about that. So basically, back to the point. So the IMF mentioned their worry, and other countries mentioned their worry. So that's because of what's going on. They see that there will be more independence in that country and not reliance on their system or their dependent system that they use to keep the people down. And that's just my opinion, and other people who are like me who see, because basically, if you are helping the people, why are all these people in these countries still poor? Why? and you're supposed to be a fund. You're supposed to help the people, or these different organizations supposed to provide the finance to help that country to be able to get out on their feet and to do the things that they need to do, and to import and export more products and this and like that, and to build their country up, to build their infrastructure up with the money that they have. And then they have to give that money back as a loan, because that's what they do to these countries, these different institutions that are loaning institutions and major big institutions like the IMF. But then why do people fall in? Why do these countries fall into higher debt, more debt? Is that because you want to get them up, or is that because you know what you're doing? And I'm not going to get into all that too deep, but because then they got the people who are conspiracy theorists, and then you're fake news, and okay, whatever. So basically, let's go to the video again and listen to the remainder of what was being said, and so we can finish my video and move on from there. Okay.
Over a major loan has expressed worry that it could be used as a vector for money laundering.
All right, how's this being seen there?
Now you see that's their main narrative. The main narrative, just like with and I'm not going to get off point, but the main narrative with what they always try to use as a negative narrative, to have the people to say, oh, we stay away from this. This is money laundering. This is a way and a tool for money laundering. They always, the systems, the higher up systems and the powers that be, paint this image, because that's the only main thing they're doing. But yet, for all these years, with the American dollars and the other dollars and all the fiat money in throughout the world has been used for money laundering. But yet, because this is something new and it's going to take away from what you have control of, the rest of the wealth, and take the people and give the people who have need and haven't had this wealth another means of being able to gain that wealth, to gain wealth. Now you're not liking it. So, okay, we got to defame it real quick and put that narrative, money laundering, because that's all they keep mentioning, that it seems to be the only thing that it does, but it's not used for the good things that people are doing with it. Okay, yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
I said Jorge, and I actually been Jose.
Yeah, I think you said
These are one of the talkers. These are one of the panelists. This is one of the panelists. His name is Jose. I don't know I can't remember his last name, but he is he's one of the panelists that speak supposedly for a transparency organization that puts out to try to produce more media to be more transparent to what takes place in El Salvador. But he seems to be very suspicious to me, and you can listen and hear for yourself.
Well, look, there's been a lot of hype about the adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender in El Salvador. I understand that.
Oh, Jose
mostly because the government
Monero
uses its international publicity machinery to project an image of.
Yeah, he's part of
the United States.
Hold on.
Payments.
He runs democracy.
It would encourage foreign investment. Even he has said this.
And his organization for transparency and democracy and so forth like that.
There is, however, no evidence, no documentation from the government explaining how this will happen. A civil society organization requested just last week all technical documentation supporting the law, and none was provided because there is no technical evidence supporting the idea and the objectives behind the adoption of crypto as legal currency. Second reason, this is a code.
So see, what he's trying to say is, and I understand, but at the same time, I'm suspicious of this cat. I'm suspicious of this guy. But that's just my opinion. And you can hear it and how it sounds. He's talking on the lines of that they feel that there isn't any transparency from the government and so forth, and what has happened in a lot of the regular people, citizens of El Salvador, this was forced upon. They don't know what's going on, and there's plenty of them are not even for it. And then he tries to bring that up. I'm suspicious of people like this, and why? Because they talk with a double tongue, and the double tongue is how you know who they are is that the double tongue, it in the middle, it's double in the end, but in the middle is just exactly what it is. It comes from the person. It comes from the origin, and the origin is that which in their heart, what they really mean and what they intend. But the tongue, it may go this side and talk like for you a little bit. Usually, how you know too, it speaks about on to say, yeah, that's true, and then you can get this, and this is good, but and that's the other side of the tongue, which is the tongue that's more derived to their real intent. And their real intent is to have an argument, to have a rejection to the process or to what the people are trying to do. And he seems more like that. Okay, he seems more like that. He doesn't seem objective or trying to see whether on both ends what is it that what's going on. And as you notice when you hear him, he speaks again, and before this part he was interrupting the guy who is the main person who works for the president and his administration in dealing with finance and so forth and like this. So anyway, let's get back to the point.
So policy.
Yeah, let me give Paul a chance to jump in on this because we're running out of time.
Paul,
But Paul, doesn't this serve the part of the country? If you give a half the country there has access to the internet, uses it regularly, doesn't it serve them better than the other half that doesn't have access to the internet?
1.1 million businessmen invoice less than $2,400 a month, and 4.6 million sub.
Yeah, his name is Paul Steiner. I'm sorry, cut that off because I just wanted to get the guy's name. And he's, of course, he's from El Salvador, but he works there under the president, and he is the president of Con. What is it? I can't really see it that well. Kana Maifi. Kona. It might be Kona or Kana. But it's one of the companies that deal with the finance and trying to bring more, I guess, advancement and more growth in the financial in the sector of the country. So let's see more what he's saying.
Salvadorians depend on their sales to eat and live. More than 70% of the population has not got a bank account. And so from that point of view, the banks will not touch them because they're informal, because they don't have a credit track record. With Bitcoin, all they need is their national identification. And the advantage of that is that there's a very large proportion of them that receive remittances, as you heard in your report. This year, it's estimated that $7,000 million will arrive in El Salvador in the form of remittances. If you look at the average percentage of cost of remittances, you're talking of over $1,000 million if you take on board all types of remittances.
Now, you see, remittances can be coming from other countries where there are people who work in those countries that are El Salvadorian, and they're sending money abroad back to their home country to help their family. Help their family. That's why they left the country. That's why a lot of people leave their countries is for their family. Some of them leave their children behind, their wives, if they're men. Some of the women leave and the children stay behind and with their grandparents or whatever like this. It's rough. Immigrants from even the Muslim lands do the same thing. And they use remittances. And remittances help them to be able to get their money to their families and to do what they need to do with it to get themselves out of poverty. People struggle hard to get around the world just to get themselves out of poverty. Because poverty, as we know in Islam, is major. It can harm people and can make people weaken in their deen even because they don't have the strength and the iman to be able to deal with it and cope with it. Or even knowing how to deal with, getting around with tawakkul and fearing Allah, relying on Allah, and being patient with Allah that His qadr will take place, that it will be good for you eventually, and things that you will get past the difficulties, and making the means and taking the means while you are going through what you're going through to make changes that make things to happen for you better. You know, some of these people don't know how to do this, so they rely on just finding a way to get more money. That's just like I said in relation to my peoples and African Americans in the hood. This is where the perpetuation of that mentality is there. Get that money, get that guap. And that's where we got to come away from a little bit and balance it and kind of convert it into something that's going to be positive for us and better for us than the ways that we've been doing. The ways that we've been doing and trying to obtain it, even the women, you know, they swing on poles at night in clubs, swinger clubs, and, you know, stripper clubs. And then before that, it was prostitution. You know what I'm saying? It's something else. It's serious. It's serious. And money, if it's not there for the people, people will go desperately to whatever ends that it may be to get it. So these people are trying to send money to their families so they can help their family members out of poverty while they're living in a little bit of a better way. Sometimes they're not even living in a better way in that country that they're working in and making that money. They might be living in a hole in the wall themselves. But they making sure that money's going back over there. But if it can't get there in a way, at a good time, and also at the amount that it was before it gets feed up, meaning they feed the money. You have to pay fees for it, and that fee is real high usually these days when it comes from these companies. And now with an inflation, but with cryptocurrency of Bitcoin, they have a set fee, and that fee is less, that they've been finding out and doing findings, that is less than these remittance fees that be dealing with the regular companies or institutions that provide remittance payment remittances throughout the world. So this is what they do, and he's explaining it. This guy knows what he's talking about. He got numbers, and the other guy, as you hear, he'll come in and say, "Oh, you can't just use numbers." That's another way diverting and trying to, you know, reject the truth or reject with the benefit that's coming for those people.
Costs that will be saved. That money could come in extra income or could come in terms of investment by their relatives overseas. Additionally,
I don't mean to be respectful here, but
See, he doesn't mean to be respectful. You don't mean to be disrespectful. Get your English straight. But I'm just messing around. But they basically, come on, man. He didn't even want to let the guy finish talking, because that's what they do. They try to divert the stuff, get it off, get them off their point of focus to be able to bring what is truly going on, what needs to go on, and there's an opportunity for growth. And this is what this guy's talking about. Not saying that he's.
This is a lot of numbers you're putting out, but why has the government failed to produce a single technical document to explain the linkage you're making between growth and opportunities for Salvadorans and the forced implementation of Bitcoin as a legal tender? I still fail to comprehend.
See, that's where the snake tongue is. Forced implementation. How is it forced? And that's what he says later. Paul says, yo, you don't have to accept it. You don't have to get Bitcoin. That's not mandatory. It's not mandated. But that is the system that's going to be for money moving and changing and transaction. Now we're going to put it as Bitcoin as the tender. So now if you want to be able to partake in it and not use the old ways and think that the old ways are going to help you, then this is what it's going to be. We're making changes. And the people got that. They got the wallets. You see them and they're doing what they got to do. So what is this dude talking about? That's that double tongue, like I'm telling you.
That why hasn't the government produced a single piece of evidence? And what we have seen, on the contrary, is a campaign, a publicity campaign for Salvadorans to adopt at the quickest pace possible this currency they do not fully understand, and which, by the way, is absolutely unpopular.
Come on, man. Plenty of these people didn't fully understand American dollar when they had El Salvadorian presidents on their dollar. That don't play that game, because that's like saying, okay, because this is a different currency, so we don't understand it, we're not going to use it. But why didn't you do that with American dollar? It is a gradual thing. Now you saying that it's happening so fast. We're living in faster times. Things happen fast because of technology. Technology has helped to make things efficiently quicker and faster now. So stop playing the double tongue, playing the games. That's what they do, man. That's just what they do.
Premium unpopular. Did you know that the only
popular subscription were already subscribed in the last 7 days.
that's great.
See how he says that is great. But he's going to hop off of that because he just got to show to be politically correct, to sound like he's, being objective, and he's being, he's being well-rounded and balanced. He's not trying to be biased. He's biased because when it goes, as soon as he says, okay, that's good. But you go back to the but and what's going on. And excuse me, I'm letting this video go on. So this video is going to be a bit longer, but it's okay.
The president announced it yesterday. Since the government wallet was launched in February, March, one more time, 7th last week, we've had 7 days out of about 500,000 people registering it. Now, the interesting thing about that is,
in 7 days, 500,000 people registered the wallet. And over here, I can't even get like maybe 5 or 2 or 3 people in my own family to had registered. I mean, I put several videos out, but I haven't barely got any response from most of my family. I have over 50 people in my family that be on Facebook that I know could have, and even in Instagram, see my videos. If you see me on Twitter, boom. And just people alone, period, not even my family members, just other people that have ever DM'd me, hey, how do you do this? And I'm very interested. These people, they see that there is a possibility and a great opportunity for them to be in a better financial situation. But us over here, oh man, I don't know. We let the powers that be manipulate us still continuously, complacent and staying. Oh, you complain about your issues, but yet you don't want to make maneuvers for opportunity and placing yourself in positions for different opportunities. When Bitcoin first came, I missed myself. I missed out myself. But you and us, we're are you ready for what's coming? Are you ready? You're not ready. Because if you was ready, then the numbers that they say there, 500,000 people registered for cryptocurrency wallet. This dude's talking about most of the people don't know about. Hey, well, they know now. They knew how to register. How did that happen? They must have had a whole lot of cryptocurrency people like myself, enthusiasts and persons who learned about how to register, just a basic registering of a wallet, let alone all the other things that you can do with cryptocurrency. But registering a wallet, it puts you up and sets you up so you can be able to invest in the cryptocurrency and buy some. That's basically what they're for. And also to save it and leave it there if you're going to leave it there, and do trading and different other functions. But 500,000, what's up with us? We sleeping, or no, we're scared, or no, we're complacent, or no, I don't know. You know, are you ready? So pretty much, I'm gonna finish the video up, and
by setting the wallet as a national wallet, the president can control all commissions on it. So that means that someone in New York can send $100 to his relative here in El Salvador, who will receive $100 and can transfer it to his bank account if he has one. 0 commissions all the way through.
Bang! You heard that? So my Honduran families in New York, wants to send money to our family members in Honduras still, right? $100, like they said. Well, assalamu alaikum. That's my wife. and they send $100 over to Honduras, and this is El Salvador. But let's get into how this can go and expand into other countries in Central America. Let alone we're not talking about the rest of the world. And in Africa, same thing. And they are like a beacon for the rest of the so-called underdeveloped world, which is the majority of the world, and the unbanked people in the world, and the impoverished people in the world. Wake up, people.
Man,
Chivo wallet, who owns that?
I'm sorry?
Who owns the Chivo, the wallet that you're talking about? Who owns it?
The wallet is a government-owned wallet.
And who's it run by?
It's run by a subsidiary, I believe, of
It's a private company. It's a private company with stocks. Yes, it's a private company that has stocks and it could be eventually sold out to somebody else. Yes, it was founded with government money, but it's a public company. You have to see this in the...
He thinks that a lot of people or everybody is dumb. This guy, Jose. He said it's a government, it's a contracted company, a private company. But the government supplied the funds. There's a company that runs all the banking, I mean, can't say all, but predominant amounts of banking system throughout the world. That is the network remittance and transactions of money being able to do in a network manner on a scale of technology is concerned. I'm trying to get their name off my head, but Ripple XRP has the same kind of way, and it's at odds. Ripple, the company, is at odds with this company, and it's a private-owned company. It just has huge contracts all over the world, and it's been the networking system that's for most banking systems for a long time. But because, like Ripple has mentioned in their leadership, has spoke on how this process that I can't get the name, and basically they are slow. They're not strong enough, fast enough. Their networking system or their system is not good enough to push the demand of remittance and money transaction and banking for us, even and it leaves out unbanked people who don't have bank accounts. So what is this guy saying? Because the government gets a private company for a contract? They do that all the time. Government contracts they put out to contractors. Stop it, man. Think everybody's stupid.
Context of the democratic backsliding of El Salvador. So just listen.
I have less than a minute, Jose, so you got to make this point tight.
Absolutely. Okay, so Bukele is immersed in this quick power grab. He has already eliminated the courts. He has the majority in the assembly. He's poised for re-election, undoubtedly. He wants to amend the constitution. He wants a new constitution, and now he wants us to believe that the new currency, the new legal currency, will benefit Salvadorians, to whom he is now denying even the right
It's so easy to participate in Bitcoin. You don't have to. If you're
I hate to do it, but we have to end the show there. I want to thank you.
So you see how they didn't give him the last word? They barely gave him the last word. But what he was saying was that if you do not want to deal with Bitcoin, you don't have to. If you are a skeptic and you're a person that is, I don't know, and this is something new and we don't know nothing about it, if that's what it is, or you were actually an agent. That's what I feel, and that's my own opinion with this guy, Jose. Agent for the powers that be. And the powers that be don't like what's going to be in El Salvador, inshallah. So it's what it is. And that's going on throughout the world. Plenty of countries are adopting cryptocurrency as a function for their country, whether it's going to be tender or whether they're going to be using it and allowing people to make their own remittances and using it for their own with their own wallets and banking themselves, being their own bank, if you understand. So basically, that's it. This is one of my longest videos, and I'm gonna stop here and move from this position to the position that I have to take, which is getting myself prepared for work. So, but I thank you for listening. Keep up learning and educating yourself in this area, but know that adoption of, which is my main point of this as well, is that adoption of digital currency, especially cryptocurrency, is steadily moving and is pretty much unstoppable. Of course, with not past Allah's will and His control, but as far as humankind and those who have rejection to it. So they can do what they want, they can say what they want. It's going forth. And those of you who want to be able to be in the midst of when it comes in for you as well, then get in and make the maneuvers you need to do. If you need help, your brother's here, your friendly neighborhood Muslim brother Taalib. Remember to hit that like button, smash it, how they say. Share this video so it can go out and get out to more people and help more people, whatever benefit they can get from it. And subscribe so that you can be a part and be staying tuned to what I'm putting out there and the content I try to bring. And if you're really, really keen to it and interested in continuing to learn and understand what I'm dealing with as far as the content that I bring. So thank you again for listening, and assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings, and keep up the lessons.